Alright, so this video, I think you guys are going to like this. If you have parallel lines with a transversal, so here's our angles right here, and I went ahead and added in x is parallel to y, so we know that those are two parallel lines, and then you've got our transversal. We've got the 8 angles that we're used to seeing, so here's that transversal, and then here's our two lines. So I'm just identifying the appropriate lines. We can find, as long as the two lines are parallel to each other, then we're able to figure out the measure of every single angle, all 8 of these. So the first one they told us was 60 degrees. So from there, it's a nice jump to be able to figure out what angle 1 is. Now, how could we figure out if this is 60, what's angle 1 going to be? Well, these two angles are supplementary. So when they're supplementary angles, they add up to 180. So if that's 60 degrees, angle 1 must be 120 degrees. Alright, so then we can just work our way through this figure. Angle 1 and angle 2, angles that are across from each other like this, are vertical angles, and they're always congruent. So if angle 1 is 120, that means that angle 2 is also 120 degrees. And we can follow that same logic with angle 3. It's across from from the 60 degrees, so those are vertical angles. So I know that angle 3 is going to be 60 degrees. You also could have used your supplementary angles. You know, if angle 1 is 120, angle 3 is supplementary with it, making that 60 degrees. So there's a couple ways to get there with your thinking. Alright, so now let's jump down to the angles below. Do we have any way to figure out what these are? And maybe we'd start with angle 4. If this is 60 degrees and angle 4 is its corresponding angle, what did we learn about corresponding angles? Corresponding angles are always congruent. So that means that angle 4 is also 60 degrees. And then you can work your way around just like we did the last one. Angle 5 is supplementary to angle 4, so that makes angle 5 120 degrees. Angle 6 is vertical with angle 5, so those are going to have the same measure, so angle 6 will be 120 degrees. And then the last one is angle 7, which is vertical with angle 4. Those will have the same measure, so angle 4 will be 60 degrees. Alright, so if we were to fill in these angle measures, they actually make a nice little pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my 60 degree angles, and then the other ones are 120. So if you have parallel lines and you know just one angle measure, all we had was 60 degrees, we're able to get the rest of the angles. And you can see you've got 60s and 120s, and then down here in the same pattern, 60s and 120s. And then just a note on this figure, if we're saying that this is 60 degrees and this is 120 degrees, do you guys think this is an accurate drawing? And no, it's not accurate at all. This angle 1 in a drawing should be bigger than this angle because it's 120 degrees. So don't trust the drawings and say it looks like it should be this. We have to use better knowledge than that and just assume that drawings are not accurate.